You must be at least 18 years of age to listen to the following podcast.
I am Robert Black, and you are listening to Sexual Heroes. Will is a sex and Tantra coach living in Los Angeles. He produces practical and explicit educational videos that teach men how to connect and experience more pleasure. Will also teaches naked yoga, meditation, and he offers guided masturbation classes online. Hi, Will. Thanks for joining me on Sexual Heroes today.
Thank you, Robert. Glad to be here.
Will, you're a sex and Tantra coach.
Correct.
I think people know what sex is, but just to be on the safe side, can you explain Tantra?
Tantra means a lot of different things to a lot of different people because as many Tantra practitioners there are that many definitions of Tantra.
Ooh.
It's kind of like if you go to 10 different yoga classes, you're going to have 10 totally different experiences. And Tantra is that way as well. A lot of people think of Tantra as being a sexual practice exclusively. And while sex is a part of everybody's life, whether it's solo or partnered, even a super sexual person in a 24-hour day, how many hours are they having sex on average? Maybe one or two, a super, super sexual person. But the other 22 hours of the day can also be tantric in nature as well with the right intention. So Tantra is really a lifestyle. It's an essence you take on. It is a spiritual practice. And each practitioner of Tantra has their own emphasis or passion or desires around the practice. And while I did say that Tantra is not all sexual, as a practitioner, the sexual aspect is what I focus on almost exclusively.
So when we say you're a sex and Tantra coach, we mean sex and Tantra as a combined entity.
Correct. Yes. Okay. I teach people practical tips and tricks to improve their bedroom experience, whether soloed or partnered. And with Tantra, I'm also teaching very practical Tantra rituals, exercises, sex magic, which is a combination of masturbating and meditating. So my skill set lies in the practicalities of sex and Tantra coaching.
How did you become interested in Tantra? Where did it start for you?
Well, I've been a massage therapist since 1998, and I also have certifications in Pilates and yoga and personal training. And as I have moved through my health and fitness career, one of the things that has just really shined strongly is the sexual and physical aspects of what I teach and what I offer. And about 6 years ago, I was introduced to the Body Electric School. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yes.
Great. And the Body Electric School was started in the 80s by Joseph Kramer in response to the AIDS epidemic. And the emphasis around Body Electric was helping teach men how to bond and connect and experience their sexual eros, their sexual being, even in the midst of a disease that nobody really knew at the time, how you got it, how to protect yourself, how do we have sex anymore? And the Body Electric School taught and still teaches men how to connect in a safe and responsible and communicative way that is really satisfying and fulfilling. And I had heard about the Body Electric School for years, and everybody told me that since I was already a massage therapist that I probably wouldn't get much out of it. But I took a chance and went to my first weekend workshop and was completely blown away. It was totally different from what I was doing. It was a totally different approach to touch and connection and male bonding. And that launched my passion and desire, and then a new career path.
Just to clarify, that Body Electric is still in existence?
It is, yes.
So you said you were blown away. How did you get blown away? What was the big light bulb for you?
The big light bulb was the fact that I had so much to learn. I really thought after because I had already been in practice of doing massage for, like 15 years. I had worked at really high-end clinics, high-end spas, and I had been self-employed for over 10 years. And I really thought I knew a lot more than I did about touch and connection. And I also was new to the idea of sex and spirituality being connected. That was a totally new concept for me. And the Body Electric School, as well as Tantra for Gay Men, that's another school that I began attending soon after. Both of those schools helped teach me that sexual energy is creative life force energy. And when you think about it, and when you charge it, and when you infuse it into your body, and then use those energetic impulses within your meditations, you can actually launch manifestations in a turbo way that makes things unfold in your life much faster than if you had not infused that sexual energy.
Wow. I'm starting to realize I'm missing something.
Yeah, it's a little heady.
Wow.
But
Okay.
it really is the foundation of what I do and what I teach, is that when you can engage your sexual energy and when you can circulate it through your body, and you think about how you want your life to unfold, those manifestations happen much more quickly, because that sexual creative energy can literally move mountains.
Wow. So it's kind of like a sex tantra life coaching.
Yes. Yes. I help people bring balance back to their lives, whatever aspect is either too strong or too weak, or needs more education, or needs healing, or needs support.
If I want to get information from you and I want to start to learn about this, how do I go about it? How's it going to happen?
So before COVID, I had ads online through Rent Masseur, Masseur Finder, RentMen. Those are the avenues for guys who practice in sex work and massage and tantra. That's where we can advertise. And I would see people individually. I would say most of my clients came to me for just massage, either therapeutic or sensuous or tantric massage. And some people would come for tantric education, and some would want to lean more into the spiritual aspects, like we were just discussing before with the masturbation and meditation combination. So it really depends on what the person wants, but most people came to me for massage. Now then COVID hit, and one of the first things they said was, don't touch your face. And that's basically what I got paid to do, was, to touch people everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I pivoted, and I have had a dream of creating practical and explicit sex and tantra education videos. So I buckled down and learned all the tech and bought all the audio and video equipment and put together a production team. And I have been spending the last 4 months producing over 50 sex and tantra education videos that I sell online, because that's my only way to really teach and connect with people now.
If we go to your site and we're looking at these videos, is there an order, do this first, do this second, or is there a process that we're going to go through to learn to incorporate Tantra?
Yeah, that's a great question. The way the subscription sites for videos are set up is that they are in a timeline. So we are not able to put videos in categories and folders. So I've spent a lot of time putting them in an order that makes sense for learning. Although I know people log on and just skip around. However, I truly believe that in order for you to connect fully and satisfactorily with a partner, that you really need to learn how to connect and pleasure yourself. So many of the first videos that I've produced and uploaded are solo sexual masturbation videos, guided tantric masturbation. I teach people how to masturbate in a way that better prepares them for partnered sex. I've produced a whole series on ways to masturbate that will lead you to being more skilled in the bedroom, as well as learning how to increase your endurance and even learning how to expand your vocabulary of the type of orgasms you have, including male multiple orgasms, which is something that I teach.
So that's something you can develop?
Absolutely. It's something that I developed, and then I created a teaching system for it, similar to how a personal trainer would teach you how to do a series of exercises so that you could achieve a skill.
Wow. Can we stop this now so I can go turn on one of your videos?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a skill that I was able to attain about 5 years ago. And it was a little tricky for me to get there because there wasn't any straightforward, practical, step-by-step method. And that's how my brain works. It's like, I love the spirituality. I love hearing about some of the history and stuff, but I really want to know, like, how can I get my cock to function in different ways? How can I learn different ways to masturbate so that when I'm with a partner, I can last longer and I can satisfy them more, and how I can get my cock to stay harder longer, how I can train my cock to be functional in different body positions. I used to not be able to fuck very well standing up because I hadn't trained my cock to be functional standing up, because I always jerked off laying down. Our cocks are very much like other parts of our body in that they get used to what we give them, and our bodies adapt to habit, and our cocks adapt to the way that we stroke them, the speed, the pressure, how long we stroke them. And every time you masturbate in the same way, you're creating a neurological bond that gets stronger and stronger between your mind and your cock. So, for example, if you masturbate with a fast, hard grip, and you usually just go for, maybe 5 to 7 minutes, which is actually longer than most men go for, and you're in the exact same position and you're watching porn, well, that's what your cock is really good at. And then if you have a date with somebody and now you find yourself standing up, there's no porn, they're touching your cock in a softer, not as intense way, and you're wondering, what's wrong with me? What's going on? There's nothing wrong with you. You've just trained your cock to lie down, turn the porn on, and jack it really quick.
That makes total sense.
So it's just a matter of masturbate in the way that your body is going to be moved and touched and manipulated while you're in bed. So I always recommend to men, masturbate on your hands and knees, masturbate standing, masturbate on your back, change your hand, change your grip, change your speed and pressure. Mimic the environment that you want your cock to ejaculate in. A lot of guys have a hard time ejaculating inside somebody's mouth or their hole or their pussy because they grip their cock in a way that doesn't feel like a mouth hole or pussy, and their cock adapts to that.
Speaking of pussy, tell me about your audience. It's not just gay men.
It's mainly gay men, but I kind of wish, like, there's a part of me that almost wants to start a whole nother site or platform for straight men or bisexual men, because most of the content I produce is for any man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that said, another thing that I produce are videos where I am with a partner and I'm showing how these techniques can blend seamlessly into partnered intimacy without a lot of explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of my videos are very how-to. I'm speaking directly into the camera as I'm stroking my cock, or I'm with a partner and we're actually teaching. And then I'll do videos where I will show that skill in action without as much talking, so people can see like, oh yeah, that does actually work. It's not awkward. You can
Right.
totally do that.
And that's with other men, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that would be a hard sell for a straight guy.
It would, but I'm also bisexual.
Oh.
And I love trans men. Yes. So there is a part of me that thinks, wow, if this takes off a little more, I could branch off and help teach all genders.
Wow. You are the right guy for this podcast. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Himeros TV. What, can you talk about your collaboration with them?
Oh, sure. So Himeros.tv is an amazing porn company that is really breaking the mold of how porn is produced, how the models are treated, and what is shown in their movies. So they show a lot more of all ages, shapes, and sizes and colors. They are not shy about showing soft cocks and cocks of different sizes. They also do some fantastic education within their videos, and they run their shoots really respectfully and really comfortably and really like a really supported gay sexy summer camp. What they do is Davey Wavy is in charge of Himeros.tv. It's his company. And what he'll do is he will rent out a gorgeous space. It'll be a huge house. He's even rented out castles. He's rented out resorts. And he will create a container where nobody else will be at that resort. It's all Himeros people. He caters the food. Everybody stays in the same place. Guys are not allowed to be hooking up online or going to the bars at night. We have activities. There's Tantra and sex coaching and bonding workshops that the guys attend so that they can help get in alignment with each other before a shoot. Yes, and they have sex coaches on staff for each shoot so that they can communicate with the models before, during, and after the shoot. And after a shoot, each model is given 5 sessions with a sex coach in case during the shoot, something came up or something was uncomfortable that triggered them from their past, or maybe they have a curiosity about something that they learned during the workshop that they would like to expand on. So the counseling can kind of take them further into Tantra and also help them maybe clean up some issues that they thought in their past might have already been solved. You know how when you're having sex or you're with a group of people and there might be some pressure or feelings of competition or insecurity that come up, especially on a set of beautiful porn stars. Mm-hmm. And the sex coaches are equipped to counsel the guys and really help them feel better about themselves and address any things that might come up before, during, or after the shoot.
Well, I can tell you, as someone who has done porn for a lot of different studios, that is definitely different.
It's amazing. And when I first worked for them, I worked for them as a model on a shoot. I was just hired like any other porn guy, and everything just ran beautifully. Everybody was tested before the shoot. All the rides were arranged beautifully. You get to pick what type of food you want to eat. I think everybody has their own room. I mean, it's just really, really, really nice. And the schedule is comfortable. And like I said, it's like a fun gay summer camp container. It's awesome.
Sounds it. So you were one of their models. Are you also one of their coaches?
I am now. So after that first shoot, it went well, and last summer they invited me to be one of the sex coaches for a shoot that they did for everyday guys. It wasn't for porn stars, but Himeros hosted a retreat at Easton Mountain in New York, which is an amazing clothing optional gathering place. And we had a full week of a retreat and workshops, and naked yoga classes. And we also shot 12 videos that an amazing coach named Brad Amberhart, he wrote most of the concepts. I wrote one of them. And we filmed porn with these non-porn guys for a week. It was very co-creative as we found out what their strengths and weaknesses and fantasies were. And it was a really beautiful experience.
The videos people will see on Himeros.tv, who's the audience?
So what you'll see on Himeros.tv is more of a connection between the guys and less of like rip your clothes off and just mindlessly pound away at your hole.
Mm-hmm.
There's
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, and you will see some of that on Himeros too, but it's all talked about in advance. It's the choice of the models. That's another thing with the models get to choose what type of sex they want to have with their screen partners. And they also get to decide if they want to use condoms or bare. And the concepts, while they are strong concepts and will be respected during a shoot, they are not written in stone. So there's always flexibility for the desire of the models to do as they please. But before each shoot, there is usually a workshop that will cover the topic of the shoot. There's always boundaries and consent that are discussed. And then right before a scene, the models are usually pulled aside, to just go over any last minute lines or levels of comfort or any questions that they have. But for the most part, what you will see is much more connected, maybe a little slower pace. It's more beautiful because their production value is super high. They use the same lenses and cameras as they would use like on Game of Thrones and Handmaid's Tale. They rent from the same place. So it's all very high quality and high end. It's gorgeous.
Fascinating. I want to go back to your videos. I stumbled upon, as I was cruising through your different sites, there was a video about how to turn a top into a bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that video, you're curious about that video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So that is one of the biggest questions I get from men these days is I'm too tight. I see these guys getting fucked and pounded by huge cocks, and I would love that. And I don't know how they do it because it hurts. I don't know how to open and stretch my hole, and nobody else does either. So that's how this concept was born. The video is actually called Ass Play for Tops. And again, the idea is to open up a man's hole so beautifully and lovingly that even if he's a top, he's going to want to get fucked. And it's a series. This is a very practical video. It's a series of exercises, both manually with hands or tongue, to gently open up a man's hole. The video is actually a live workshop that I did at Easton Mountain, where I spoke and gave a lecture and then had one of the guys who was a participant in the retreat come to the middle of the room, and I performed all of the techniques on him while everybody observed. It was
wow.
Yeah, it's really, and they were sitting around in a circle, just they were naked. The guys were naked, kind of playing with their dicks, and I was talking to them. So first, I started with an external anal massage, and I showed it very clearly. I named all the moves, and then I did a good rimming series, again naming all the different moves I was doing with my mouth and tongue.
So
And
this guy was not shy.
no, he was not. But he was also not a porn guy. He had never been filmed before. So that's what was so incredible about this experience, was bringing these men from all over the country who had never met before, never been on film before, get them into a place of relaxation and openness. And really the way we did that was helping them understand how important these concepts are for men around the world to understand. And they felt that way. So it was almost like, wow, this is embarrassing for me, or I might not be super comfortable with my body, or I don't know what this is going to look like, but I trust in the process that practical sex education is important because none of us got it.
The obvious question to me is, you can turn a top into a bottom, but can we reverse that process?
Can you turn a bottom into a top?
Yes. Hello.
Actually, you can.
Okay. Are you listening, everybody?
Well, I haven't come out with that video yet.
Oh.
However, I will say, me personally, I am now a top. As of about a year ago, I had an injury to my ass, and it is still healing. And in the process of having that aspect of my sexual being eliminated, I took on the challenge of myself to really focus and practice and emphasize and fantasize about the top element in my sexual being. And in the last year and a half, just with that desire and intention and focus, my topping skills have gotten so much better. And it really came from just sort of taking my ass off the table. It's like, my ass isn't available right now, so I'm just going to throw my interest into topping. At first it was like, oh, kind of fake it till you make it thing, because I really did enjoy flip fucking and the back and forth and the give and take. But once I decided, it was there's a lot of power in making a decision. And when you make a decision and you line up your energies with that decision, the universe and the fairies of the universe come together and bring you all the information and all the people and all the desires and all the circumstances and events to bring that decision into fruition. And with that decision of wanting to become a better top, I have.
Wow. But you had topped before. I mean, you didn't just top for the first time in this past year.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're talking about bringing a total bottom to bringing a top, well, I think I'd like to see that video too. Okay. And I don't know if I want to turn. There's a few tops, a few bottoms. I would not want them to watch that video. But yes, long story short, I don't want to sound glib or that it's, kind of Pollyanna so easy, but it really is just the power of making that decision and the education that just kind of naturally came to me, and even kind of a stronger daddy essence has come through for me. Again, just deciding that I wanted it, and also cheering myself on as I did it, because I wasn't perfect at first, but I didn't get down at myself. I gave myself the benefit of the doubt, and I patted myself on the back for trying and working on it. And now I literally feel like I'm a top. And I don't even miss the bottom as much. And my ass is really pretty much healed now. And I know I will be tiptoeing back into it, but I really have turned into a top based on that decision, honestly.
Well, I will say sex is in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not top until I was in my 30s. It was because I was dating this guy who was versatile, and he never pressured me to top him, but it was obvious that that was an option. And I think because the pressure wasn't there, and I felt so safe with him that I ended up topping him.
Mm-hmm.
And having done it that one time, that gave me the confidence, and then I became voracious as a top for a while there.
Mm-hmm. You felt that opening, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and you said you relaxed. You didn't feel pressure.
Right.
You relaxed. And you had a really strong connection with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And just the act of it created that mind to muscle connection. You performed in the way you wanted to. That built your confidence. And there is your new skill. And you became a top then.
Right.
Or at least versatile. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Mind over matter.
Yes.
Anytime we want to expand our sexual repertoire, our arsenal, and that's what you help people do, there does still need to be some intrinsic, organic desire to move in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like the top who becomes a bottom. I mean, they first, they need to really want it.
Yes. And it also helps, once you want something, to fantasize about it while you're masturbating. So many men will have a fantasy about something, and then when they masturbate, they just turn the same old porn on. So they're not creating a wiring in their brain that the fantasy matches their erection. They're still using the same fuel, visual fuel, to create their erection rather than the new desire, or fantasizing about the jack-off club or the sex party event that they're going to go to. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going to go to something, you want to fantasize about it, you want your dick to be good at something, then you have to think about that and fantasize about it while you're pleasuring yourself to create that neurological wiring so that you will perform the way you want to when you're in that situation.
Mind-body connection. There we go.
Yes.
Will, what else would you like people to know about you, or what do you think is important for them to know, either about you or sex, or what would you like to share that we haven't covered?
I would like for people to start to build a connection with their spiritual lives and their sexual lives. And we talked about it a little at the beginning of the podcast. But one of the things I'm going to start, I actually just filmed a few examples of this last week. But one of the things I'm going to start teaching through my platform is the idea that you can create the life that you want to manifest through your sex and meditative practice. And I know that sounds kind of out there and maybe a little confusing for people, but it's very simple. If you have a masturbation practice, all you have to do is masturbate without porn, visualize how you're wanting your life to look and feel, send your pleasure and your thought about appreciation of the vision that you're holding forth, and it will manifest much quicker with that sexual energy. It's as simple as that. Masturbation with meditation is how to get your life to unfold in the way that you want.
Wow. I can't wait to finish the podcast so I can grab my dick.
Good. I already have mine in my hand right now.
Oh, okay. Will, thank you very much for being on the show today.
You are so welcome. Thanks so much for having me, Robert.
For information with links about a guest appearing on Sexual Heroes, visit the show notes at sexualheroes.com or on your favorite podcast app. And while you're there, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. You can follow and message me on Twitter @RobertBlackXXX and on Facebook @RealRobertBlack. Thanks for listening.